Your suffering can help you grow. Oftentimes when we talk about suffering, we see suffering in only one light: negative, bad. When we're in it, we want to be out of it. We don't want to be in trials and storms. It's like, as quickly as it starts, can you get us out of this, God? I have never in all my time as a Christian been in a prayer circle with somebody where somebody says, Lord, give us more storms, God. Really increase the temperature of the suffering in my life. Bring more trials and tribulations. That person was my group. I was like, dude, don't pray that for me, dude. Pray that for you. That's your prayer before God. I'm not, don't tag me in with that one, God. I'm not praying that prayer. But we don't pray that because we have a certain type of view about it. And what the Apostle Paul wants to tell us is if we have a God perspective on suffering, we would actually see a lot more value in trials and tribulations than we do right now. Instead of them just being bad and difficult and hard moments, we can actually see that God can actually squeeze them and produce good in our life. But it's hard to see the God perspective in the middle of that trial and that hardship. My wife and I had a trial and hardship that came into our story a few years ago. Right before my son was born, we did some genetic testing. They cleared him. But right after my son was born, the state makes you do more testing. And that first week after he was born, the state just kept calling us and calling us and calling us. And so we finally picked up one of the calls and we got it. And they said, hey, in our genetic testing in the hospital that was done, there's a strong likelihood that your son has this genetic variance basically brings a disease into his life, and his life would be shorter. And so we think he has this, so you need to immediately, like they were very pressing, you need to immediately do more testing because if he has this, he needs to start treatment right away. Talk about a season of joy that very quickly tries to get robbed from you. You're trying to enjoy this new season of life, and now we're getting told that our son may have a disease that shortens his life, and we need to do testing right away with this little newborn baby sitting in a hospital with a specialist who's talking with us about the medication that he'd have to be on after he's like 5 days old. And in those moments, you can either press into God or push away from God. You have a choice. And me and my wife said, we're going to press into God in this season. We started praying. We started saying, God, we're asking that he'd be healthy and whole, but our hands are open to you. And in that moment, it was so hard to see the right perspective. It was so hard to see any good in that moment because it just felt all negative. It just felt like we wanted to get out of this. By God's grace, we did all the testing. My son didn't have that disease that he could have had. By God's grace, we celebrated that. And a few months later, after that storm was past and we were able to breathe a little bit, I remember looking back on it and thinking, that was an important season that we went through. And even though I don't ever want to go through something like that again, God really developed me and my wife in that season. God taught us to trust him more. Man, we couldn't control what happened. We just had to press in and pray. But God used that season to develop our faith, to develop our trust in him, to develop our pressing in and our prayer life than it would have been developed in no other season like it was developed in a trial in our life. God oftentimes uses trials and storms the same way in our life. You want to be out of it. You want to get past it. But God brings you through that. Or if he doesn't bring it into your life, he can use a storm that somebody else has brought into your life to try to help you become and mold you into becoming the person that you're asking God for you to be. Can I tell you this? God is more concerned about your holiness than simply your happiness. If we were always, as parents, just trying to make our children happy, we would avoid anything that was hard in their life. But even as parents that are imperfect, we want our kids to go through some things that are difficult so that they can be matured and learn lessons from that and become the people that we want them to be. God is the same way. He has a perfect perspective and wants to see us grow in our faith and our love and our spirituality. These Thessalonians that were going through their suffering, says he was going through their persecution and their trials, and they were enduring. But Paul is really proud of them. But because they've gone through this suffering, because they've gone through this persecution, they've actually come out of it, not just surviving, but thriving. He says their faith has grown exponentially, is the root word there. It's exceedingly, it's abnormal spiritual growth has happened in both their faith and their love. Why? Because God can help shape us and mature us much quicker in a season of suffering and pain and trials than he ever can in a season where everything's going right.